Although Korean actors try their best to keep their image clean, over the years, quite a lot of them were caught trying to evade their mandatory military service, and it had terrible consequences. The most famous recent example is the case of Song Duk-ho. In May of this year, he was sentenced to 2 years on probation because he was caught trying to fabricate a medical condition in order to evade his service. His agency revealed that he'd been trying to get out of active duty and instead illegally attempted to get a position in public service. He was suspected of working together with a broker to forge a medical condition severe enough to get him exempt. It's said that he faked having certain epileptic symptoms, and he's definitely not the only one to have tried this. The consequences of trying to evade your service are absolutely terrible and can even land you in prison for several years. So why would Duk-ho risk throwing away the amazing career he built over the years just to avoid the military? Well, there's definitely a few layers to this question. Everyone is probably already familiar with the fact that in South Korea, healthy men between the ages of 18 and 35 are required to serve in the military. They leave their normal life for about 18 to 21 months to fully engulf themselves into the military lifestyle. There's different types of service, since those who aren't in good health are exempt from active duty and are instead required to perform civil service in public institutions. In rare cases, when an individual is in very bad condition, they get exempt from serving altogether. The mandatory military service has become a very integral part of South Korean society, and it holds a lot of value among the people. But for most men, being in the military isn't fun. As the drama DP shows, the mandatory military service in South Korea can actually be really cruel. The series tells the story of a group of people made to track down fellow soldiers who deserted their roles, sparked a heated debate about the hardships soldiers face while in their service. A big group of people believes that the soldiers are treated way too harshly, and they claim that these soldiers are often even tormented by others while serving together. There's been many scandals in the military, one more chilling than the other. Sometimes the situation is so extreme that it pushes people to desert their duty. Han Joon-hee, the director of DP, gave fans some insight on what inspired him to create the show. He explained that the goal was to tell a more humanizing story that shows how the system turns deserters into both victims and criminals. He said, DP is the story of tracing a deserter, but at the same time, it is a paradoxical story of looking for someone's unfortunate son, brother, or lover. The other end of the stick is almost just as bad though, since tracking down deserters also takes a serious toll on the team that's tasked with the job. The fact that quite a few soldiers can relate to the events depicted in DP shows how awful the military environment actually can be. There's even instances where former soldiers have stated they avoid the show altogether because it only brings back traumatic memories of their own service. Thinking back on his experience, a soldier said, "There is a scene in DP where they throw combat boots at the soldier. I went through a lot of similar harassment." Others refer to their time in the military as the Dark Ages, which shows just how much cruelty some had to face. After DP gained a huge amount of popularity, the Ministry of Defense was even forced to speak up about the current state of the Korean military. A spokesperson claimed that nowadays the military environment has changed and that the treatment of soldiers is no longer that harsh. While that may be true to some extent, there's still quite a bit of downsides to serving in the military. One of the biggest cons of being isolated from the outside world for nearly 2 years is the fact that everyone has to put their careers on hold, including celebrities. You can probably already guess that if you're a public figure, this can be incredibly damaging for your relevancy. While most actors aren't completely forgotten, it takes them a little to get back on their feet. Actors who enlisted at the peak of their career, such as Kang Teo from Extraordinary Attorney Woo, could have some fierce competition in their field when they're finally back. On the other hand, if an actor enlists as a rookie, they might have a harder time landing projects once they're back, since tons of new actors will be on the rise. Not to mention that the initiative an actor shows while serving in the military can seriously make or break their career. If netizens believe someone is slacking off, for example by doing public service instead of active duty, their popularity will drop drastically. An actor that probably handled his enlistment in the best way possible is Park Seo-joon, who enlisted before his debut and now gets to enjoy an uninterrupted career. Actors and other celebrities don't only face issues because they lose recognition, their already established popularity often also forms a serious threat within the military itself. Over the years, there have been some pretty severe cases in which the privacy of public figures was violated. Once the whole world knows you, there's no escaping that, even in the military. Taemin from SHINee proved that there can be a serious downside to being famous. Since he's one of the biggest idols in the industry, it's not surprising that other soldiers treated him like an attraction and spent their time trying to get a glimpse of him. However, for Taemin, it came to a point where it was actually dehumanizing. It's reported that Taemin suffered from a lot of inappropriate pestering while he was doing his service. It's said that since he was so well known, soldiers lined up to ask him for his autograph when he arrived. More disturbing is that they would also go out of their way to stare at him while he was showering. The reports reveal that they even observed him as he was was eating, not letting him have even a moment of peace. It was already a known fact that Taemin was struggling with his mental health before he enlisted, but all these other things made it worse, to the point he was transferred to public service instead of completing his active duty service because he fell into a dark place. Big Bang's G-Dragon experienced a very similar situation, except in his case, even the people with authority violated his privacy. It was reported that his very own doctor in the military hospital shared his medical records on the internet. Just like in Taemin's case, soldiers reportedly stared at him in the shower and even took it a notch further when they allegedly tried to draw his body. It's said that they tried to show where he has his tattoos, scars, and even his moles. It's said G-Dragon suffered a lot as his clothes were stolen, he was injured, and many other things happened to him, but he also found some good friends in the military, and it's said that he allowed them to use his black card while serving. While having your privacy completely stolen from you is already a pretty big deal, another problem is that soldiers lose quite a bit of money during their time in the military. Even the extremely loaded celebrities feel their cash flow lessen over time. The careers of these soldiers are forcefully put on hold, meaning they can't make any money, which puts them at a serious disadvantage. Korean men often argue that they're systematically put at an economic disadvantage in comparison to women, since women aren't forced to put their education or career at a halt for 18 months. Not only do actors start to earn less while being inactive, any type of businesses they're associated with will be experiencing some serious losses. As you might have noticed, most Korean celebrities don't only act or sing, they usually also have a few side gigs. For instance, Ravi from boy group VIX tried to evade his service this year because he was the only money-generating artist in his company. If he were to leave for the military, the company wouldn't make any revenue. Ravi also had tons of uncompleted contract work that he couldn't finish earlier because the projects were delayed due to the pandemic. Eventually, the decision to fake a medical condition to get an exemption earned him a 2-year prison sentence. Aside from the fact that actors and other soldiers can't continue their regular careers to earn money, they also get a seriously bleak salary while in the military. You'd think that there would be some sort of compensation for missing out on 18 months of a full salary, but that really doesn't seem to be the case. It's said that they're paid the equivalent of roughly 400 euros a month, and that definitely isn't enough to support a family. On top of that, soldiers serving in the military are not allowed to make any other profit through engaging in other activities. For instance, Baekhyun from EXO was forced to delete some pre-recorded YouTube videos he posted to stay in touch with his fans while being away. The reason for this was that these videos were monetized, meaning it would earn him some money, and that's pretty much illegal according to Korean laws. Actors are lucky they have an income stream from their past projects, but others don't have that luxury. Rookie actors, however, might not have past projects to fall back on, and are totally financially dependent on their families and agencies. Not completing the mandatory military service is also not an option, since that puts you at a serious disadvantage of being recruited by any large company in the future. What do you think of mandatory military service? Thanks for watching and bye, guys!